If you feel stuck, feeling like you should be further along towards your goals, but no matter what you try, you just can't seem to break through, then I really think this will resonate with you. Because in this video, I want to explain why we get stuck, even when we're working really hard. Because being stuck has very little to do with how capable you are, or even the actions that you take, and everything to do with the hidden mental patterns that you keep repeating in the back of your mind. This can happen over the course of a day or a few days, like feeling like you're spinning your wheels, but you just can't get past this mental block. Or it can happen over a longer period of months or even years sometimes, when we spiral around in circles, repeating the same actions, but feeling like we just can't make progress, even if we know that we're like just on the cusp of reaching our goal. And that frustration, that feeling of knowing that I'm almost there, if I can just be better, if I can just get past this one thing, that's what I call the stuck spiral. And it's one of the 7 masks of unconscious unhappiness. The stuck spiral is what happens when our outer effort keeps bumping up against the same inner wall, often without us even realizing it. So, over the next few minutes, I want to help you clarify how this might be showing up for you, so you can stop spinning and start taking the actions that will actually move you forward. So, first, I want to look at 2 of the most common patterns of how we feel stuck. Then we'll talk about what's really going on behind the scenes here. I'll share a few guiding questions to help you see this for yourself. And lastly, I will share the path that I use to get unstuck anytime that I catch myself in this spiral. By the way, I'm Kyle Greenfield. I'm the founder of thejoywithin.org, where I help people transform unconscious unhappiness into more conscious and deliberate joy. I've been a stress and well-being coach for nearly 10 years now. And if you head over to thejoywithin.org, you will find a ton of free trainings, guided exercises, and meditations to help you go deeper into everything that I'm talking about here today. I find the stuck spiral to be one of the most, let's say, persnickety of the 7 masks of unconscious unhappiness, because there are a number of different ways this shows up, and it rarely looks like we are the problem. As in, we almost always have a very good reason for why we feel stuck. I want to give you 2 examples of this. And while these look very different on the surface, the key I want you to look out for here is that they come from the same core problem. The outer block is a symbol of an inner belief or fear that is getting in the way. The first is a category that I'm just going to call the false start. It's that feeling of knowing what you have to do, but for whatever reason, you just can't get going on it. It's not procrastination, it's not avoidance, it's just something invisible is holding you back. One super common example of this for any type of creative work is writer's block, that feeling of just staring at the blank page, but feeling held back, unable to get going. Or in business, that might look like you know generally what you have to do, but you have trouble translating that into the specific next step that you need to take today. Or maybe you know what that next step is, but you feel like there's always something in the way, like there's always another fire that you have to put out. And that's keeping you from doing what you know is the most important work. It can kind of feel like you're lurching forward only to be choked back, like you're trying to drive a stick shift but keep stalling out in first gear. That's one form of being stuck. The other category, again, broadly speaking, is going through longer cycles of repeating the same patterns over and over again. And this one can be tricky because it often feels like you're making progress. Like you might be moving a project forward for months and it feels like you're working hard. It feels like you're about to break through. But something always happens and you wind up back at square one. I'll tell you, when I was earlier on in my career, I got stuck in one of these spirals trying to buy ads for my business. I spent a ton of time trying to build out a marketing funnel, writing emails, recording videos, and then I'd launch the ad campaign and wouldn't get the results that I wanted. So I'd stop and start over. I'd build out a new funnel, write new emails, record new videos, buy new ads, and again, I wouldn't get the results I wanted. I actually got stuck in this spiral for a year and a half. I kept trying new variations, kept feeling like I was just on the cusp of breaking through, like there was just this one code that I had to crack. And every single time, I wound up frustrated, discouraged, and disheartened. And that's what's so tough about the stuck spiral, is it often feels like you are so close, like there's just this one thing that you have to get past, but you just can't. And on the surface, it can even feel like you're making progress. Like when I was buying those ads, I felt like I was getting better. I felt like I would fix one problem and then another would crop up, almost like playing whack-a-mole. Like I might fix a video only to have the ad cost go up. Or I'd lower the ad cost, but then the marketing emails wouldn't work. And over time, it's just infuriating because you don't know why you can't seem to move forward. And your goal just stays forever out of reach. Because the stuck spiral is never about the problem in front of you. It is always about the fear or limiting belief that is hiding underneath. It's that hidden fear or belief that holds us back. The outer circumstance is just the symbol. The frustration, the feeling that you just can't get traction are symptoms. The real cause is always internal. And the incredible thing is, getting past that fear is almost like flipping a switch. And when you get to the other side, when you can see clearly the beliefs that were not serving you, you look back and it's almost laughable that you stayed stuck, spinning your wheels for so long, because the solution now seems so obvious to you. Almost always, the key issue here is clarity. With the false start, that might be knowing the right next step, getting really clear on how to get started. With longer loops, it might mean seeing the board from a higher level, gaining better judgment, or clarifying a key mistake. Whatever it is, that clarity usually happens on two levels. There's the surface clarity, seeing the external pattern and knowing how to fix it. And then there's the inner clarity, seeing the belief or the fear that was causing that pattern. I think for most of us, the challenge is when we get stuck in this spiral, we get stuck trying to fix the external problem, and we ignore the inner fears and beliefs behind it. We don't realize that the inner work has to come first, because it's those inner beliefs that are blocking our view. And when we can see through the fears and the limitations that we hold within, the outer solution becomes more obvious to us. You've probably already had this experience. If you've ever been working hard on something and then you go on vacation for a week or two, when you come back, you don't just feel relaxed, you feel clearer about the right path forward. That happens because when you're on vacation, you're not pushing up against the same limiting beliefs every day. So the mind begins to think more clearly. And as soon as those limiting beliefs subside, even just for a week, you begin to be able to see through them. Unfortunately, that vacation level clarity usually only lasts a few days, because as soon as we get back to work, we run into those same old limiting beliefs and we feel blocked again. But it is a clue about how we can move past those blocks once and for all. We can overcome our blocks by stepping back from the limiting beliefs we hold. That means taking time to come back to center so we can understand how our thoughts are serving us and where they can be improved. This happens automatically when we focus on alignment. When we feel blocked, we can reset, clarify the block, and let go of the old beliefs. Alignment is what allows us to move forward freely without obstructions, knowing that we are on track. For me, for example, I had to realize that it was my fear of losing money on ads that kept me trapped losing money on ads. It sounds crazy, I know, but my fear kept making me impatient. So I kept making changes, and I wouldn't stick through it long enough to see results. It took me a year and a half to realize that if I could just stop freaking out, I could have been making money the whole time. I mean, it sounds insane when I look back at it, but that is so common with the stuck spiral, because when we are trapped in it, we cannot see the way out, no matter how simple that path may be. So I want to give you a few guiding questions that will help you to think about this for yourself. Hopefully, by pinpointing the core issue, you'll be able to stop running into a brick wall, stop trying to force an outer solution, when what you really need to do is turn within. That realization, that acceptance that this is an internal problem, not an external one, has to come first, before you can take the steps to move back into alignment and overcome that outer block. So question number 1, how often do you stare out the window and think, why can't I just get past this? Number 2, do you keep setting and resetting the same goal, hoping that this time things will be different? Number 3, do you feel like you work hard, but no matter what you try, something always stops you from reaching your goal? Number 4, when you hit a wall, what form does that problem take? Does it trigger any fears or limiting beliefs within you? And number 5, what if the breakthrough isn't about doing more, but about letting go of the invisible blocks that are keeping you stuck? It's okay if you don't know how to answer all of these questions right now. The goal here is not to overcome any limiting beliefs right now. The goal of these questions is to point you towards the source of your real problem. It's to get you thinking about how that feeling of being stuck is coming from within you, rather than blaming the circumstances around you. I cannot overstate the importance of making this connection. Everything I have to share with you follows from it. The outer problem is a symbol. The frustration, feeling stuck, is the symptom. And updating your beliefs, coming back into alignment, is the solution. The sooner you can recognize this, the easier it is to fix. If we ignore our inner patterns, they keep resurfacing, usually in more intense ways. Feeling stuck usually starts out as frustration, but it can easily lead us into anger, discouragement, or even desperation. Every time that we try to act, but feel like we don't make progress, we end up casting a vote for powerlessness. And over time, we start to feel like our actions cannot affect change. In psychology, that's a state known as learned helplessness, and it can be really tough to break. It is much better to try to fix our frustrations sooner, to turn within and take action from the thoughts and the beliefs that we can control. So if this resonates, the first step is to get started with our 7-day reset. That will show you how to step back and create the space that you need to distance yourself from your mental block. That lays the foundation that will help you to think more clearly, more objectively about the challenges that you're going through, so you can move through them with ease. It's free and it only takes a few minutes a day. So head over to thejoywithin.org to get started. Thank you so much for your time and your presence here today. If you've enjoyed this video, please do me a quick favor and pass it on. I believe that we all deserve to feel calm, confident, and happy, no matter what challenges we're going through. And the only way that we can do that is if we get past our blocks, get out of our own way, and come back into alignment. So you can check out my free training on the path of alignment to learn more about how to do that, or head over to thejoywithin.org to get started with the 7-day reset.